So Kajabi really is a powerful platform and it has every single tool that you need in it to go from one-to-one to one-to-many in your coaching business. However, when some people open up Kajabi, they start getting really excited, start clicking all over the place for a couple hours, but still don't have anything to show for it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to set up first so you can have a strong foundation to build your coaching business on top of. And if you're serious about building your business in this robust platform so that you never have to figure out a bunch of other tools to cobble together, then I don't want you just to consume this video. I want you to build with me. So down below is a link for you, and it's going to give you 30 days free with Kajabi. And also as a gift to you, when using that link, you're going to get instant access to my Confident with Kajabi 30-day launch sprint course. Okay, so this is going to give you step-by-step exactly what to build in Kajabi so you have an entire system set up to support you. It is going to help you go from blank account to a live offer in under 30 days. So I want you to grab that for yourself and dive right in so you have a plan and never feel the overwhelm. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into today's video. Here are the things to set up in Kajabi first. All right, so we are inside of Kajabi right now, and this is what the screen looks like currently when you log in. This is your dashboard. Now, right now, they are promoting their AI, which is called Co-Founder, which essentially is like a chat GPT within Kajabi. So it can help you with kind of different things that you're building, but you really need to have an expertise on what's in Kajabi so you know what questions to ask it. Let's go ahead and move on from here. I'm going to move my face out of the way so we can get to it. Here are the first things I want you to set up in Kajabi to have a solid foundation for your business. You're going to go over to the bottom left corner and find settings, and we're going to do some work setting up your account first. So setting up your account, the first thing that you actually want to do is set up your payment processor. Listen, we love what we do, and sometimes we would do it for free, but that's not realistic. This is not a hobby. This is a business. So let's go ahead and set up a way for people to easily pay us. Now, clicking on payment setup, I want to tell you there's two options here. One is Kajabi payments, and I'm going to tell you why I think that's the winner, but you do have another option, which is Stripe. Okay. Now with Kajabi payments, it truly is the winner because they not only have a way for you to process payments, they've also added some other ways for people to pay. So it's really easy for people to say, yes, this is for me. So first of all, in Kajabi payments, they have enabled Apple Pay and Google Pay. So think about this as an autofill for people who are on an Apple device, or if they are in a Google Chrome browser, all of their information is already there. So we just autofill it for them so they don't have to actually type in their credit card number, right? Also has all the credit cards that are available to process. And then it also has two third-party payers, which is called Afterpay and Klarna. Now, these are really game-changing because for high-ticket experiences, the full price might not be what they can afford right now, and they would love to break it up into different payments over a couple of months. However, you're taking a little bit of a risk saying, yes, we can dive into the experience for only, a quarter of the price using the payment plan, but not anymore with Afterpay and Klarna. Afterpay and Klarna allows your customer or your client to pay in payments, but you still get paid up front, the full fee. Okay, so that is an option for them. All right, so moving on to set up your Kajabi payments, you can see mine is currently set up. So you can see a little connected button. On yours, if it's not set up, you're going to see a little button that says connect, and it's going to ask you to connect your business account and move forward from there. It's actually quite simple. If you've ever set up Stripe, it looks exactly the same. So you can set that up and know that you have a great way to process payments. I will say that Kajabi payments and Stripe payments, the processing fee is almost exactly the same. If you are looking at the base plan in Kajabi, it has a 2.9%, and that's the same exact rate as Stripe. As you go up in Kajabi plans and the more expensive plans, they actually drop that percentage. Okay, so just know there's no extra hidden fees like other platforms where they're doing profit share. Once you are paying this processing fee, no one else is going to kind of skim off the top. Okay, so that's something great about Kajabi. So once you have your payment setups, let's go back into settings, and I want you to look at three other components of this payment settings. Go into checkout for me next. There's a couple things I want to point out. Really important when it comes to checkout settings, look at the email opt-in. This is really important for us to look at. When someone buys something from you, they are essentially digitally raising their hand and saying, I want to learn more from you. I don't want to just have this product and never hear from you again. So you want to make it easy for them to continue to get emails from you. So there's a couple options here. The first one is unchecked option box or opt-in box. That is actually recommended. And why they're stating that is that they don't want people to be automatically added to your email list. We don't have any laws against that right now, but there are laws in Europe against that. So just think about where your clients mainly are to make that choice. And that's what they're recommending is don't have a box checked in the checkout automatically. Allow them to self-select to be on your email list. That's a little bit of a problem though, because if you have any automation email set up for after someone purchases, which I always do with my clients, I set up that for them. It's an onboarding process. They're not going to get those automated emails if they're not on your email list. So what I suggest is this next option, which is pre-checked opt-in box. So it is a checkbox. It's already selected for them, but they can toggle it off and uncheck it if they want to. But I do like to have a message in there that says something like, make sure the box is checked so you don't miss any emails about this purchase. Okay. So, because really you want to contact them about something they bought so they feel fully supported. That's my recommendation. Okay. Let's scroll down here. Something else I recommend. I would love for you to be able to select automatically sign up customers to your email list when they purchase a paid offer. This is again really to help them to get those extra emails from you. And they can always unsubscribe at any point. There's always an unsubscribe link at the bottom of every email that you send. Okay. So just know essentially you don't want them to feel ghosted when they buy something from you. So I do recommend that as well. The rest of the settings are not really necessary when first starting off. So we'll leave that there and we'll move back to settings. Let's continue on in the payment settings section and let's go find customer payments right here. So customer payments, the first thing that you must have is a business address. Of course, I don't recommend you using your home address. Go ahead and find a virtual mailbox and use that one as a business address here, but you must have a business address. Moving on from here, it's really nice to be able to send the first purchase of subscriptions a receipt to someone. If you want it to be sent every single month, then you can toggle that off. But I do feel like that can become redundant since they know they're in the subscription. The first one can confirm that they've gotten it. They are now a member, but I don't know if you want it sent every month. So that's totally up to you. Let's scroll down here. I also like to have this toggled on, send refund receipts, essentially confirming that their refund has been completed if ever needed. And also I like to attach receipts to emails. Actually, I had a client a couple years back that requested this because he had some of his clients that were getting kind of corporate reimbursements for their work with him. And so he wanted a way for them to be able to download and print out those receipts, which now is an option in Kajabi. So just toggle that on if you ever feel like someone needs to just be able to access the receipt and be able to download it. All right, so moving on here, I'd like to have the rest of these totally just toggled on. Send a reminder email 7 days before a trial ends. So if you have a trial running for your membership or your course or content, they get a 7-day like heads up, like, hey, here is a chance for you to renew because your trial is ending. And then also when a payment fails, I like to auto revoke the product access. If this is a mistake, like they change credit cards or something, I would rather have them come to me and have this notification of, oh wait, I don't have access anymore. Something needs to be improved. Something needs to be fixed here. Okay, so that can just help you get a reminder and as well for them to say something's wrong. Enable customers to self-cancel their subscriptions. This is actually, I think it's becoming a law, honestly, for them to be able to self-cancel subscriptions. They don't have to go and contact you or your team to cancel their subscription. By toggling this on, you're just making it possible for them in their profile when they're logged in to end their own membership, okay, or in their own subscription. Two-step cancellations. This is also really helpful, especially if you have a really high churn in your membership and you want to understand more about why people are leaving. The two-step, so instead of just saying like end subscription, when they end subscription, the second step asks them a question. So here's the message. You can always update this message, and then they have cancellation reasons that they can select. Okay, so just more data for you and your team. Okay, so moving on from here, customer payments, there's kind of a lot in that one. This next one is going to take 2 seconds. This one is the payment settings, and this is taxes. Now, here's the thing about sales tax. You want to be able to collect sales tax if your jurisdiction requires it. So in order to figure that out, you can just click get started, and it's going to lead you to a really helpful article where you can actually click on their partner. They partnered with, I believe it was Cordano maybe, is a sales tax compliance platform. So they partnered with them. And so you can actually find out very quickly, does your jurisdiction, do you need to collect sales tax for your products or services through Kajabi? So you can do that if necessary in Kajabi right then and there. All right, so we are on to the second part of this video. The first part was set up payments, make it really easy for people to pay you. Now let's move on to the overall site setting. So we're going to scroll down here, and I'm going to have you dive into this first one, which is your site details. Let's look at all the components in site details. First and foremost, you have general information. What do you want your site to be called? You're going to go ahead and add that title right there. If you're starting off, it's going to say something like your first name, last name, Kajabi site. So you can update that title there. Your subdomain. Let's go ahead and click on manage domain because I want to give you a couple options here. If you already have a domain purchased and you're not in a place where you want to move your website, then you can actually just create a subdomain of your domain that you already own. Let's say my domain is the System I CEO on another platform for websites, and I'm going to use Kajabi for kind of something different. What I want to do is go to my domain host, wherever I bought that domain name from, and add a subdomain like learn.thesystemiceo or academy.thesystemiceo. That's a way to distinguish your domain name for Kajabi from another website platform that you might already be using. If you're going to use Kajabi for a website, which I highly recommend, then you want to go ahead and move your custom domain here, and it has really simple steps to do so. Now, if you don't have a domain name purchased, then you can just use Kajabi's subdomain host and create something a little bit of your own. So to do that, you can go here and you can see this where it says the systemiceo.mykajabi.com. You can click edit and change the first part of that email name to be something that's more connected to your brand. And just so you know, there's some top coaches out there, top tier coaches that still use the mykajabi.com subdomain. Okay, so no big deal about that. All right, so moving on here, let's look at marketing email domain setting. Now, if you already have your own business email, which I highly recommend, this is where you're going to input that information so that, or this is where it's going to show that the information is there so that when you're sending an email, what is the domain name that's going from Kajabi to someone's inbox? I'm going to show you where to make those adjustments in just a moment. But that's where we want to start with kind of for domain settings. Let's go back to settings because that kind of took us off track here for site details. I just want to show you those three options for your subdomain or overall domain. So then we have our support email. So go ahead and put your support email if anyone needs to get a hold of you if they have questions. And moving on, we have a couple different options here. Also in the site details, you're going to find your home page. So let's say you set up a very specific landing page that you actually want to be your home page. You can just make that the landing page, select it here, and then anytime someone puts in your main URL, it's going to go to whatever page you're directing it to go to, such as that specific landing page. Okay, so that's where you do this here. The next section is all about the instructor. So any components in Kajabi where the bio of the instructor needs to be displayed, you're going to have that information right here. And you also have your page scripts here. If you have a meta pixel code, then go ahead and put that right here. It's going to track essentially anyone that comes from a meta platform to your website. That's just going to start tracking them, which is really, really good data for Meta when you want to run ads. So just go ahead and add that Meta page script right there. The last component of the site details is your SEO and social sharing components. SEO is just going to be what title, when someone searches for something that's similar to what you do, what is the page title you want to display, and what is the page description, and also what image do you want to pop up with when they search. Okay. This is also where you can toggle on and off Kajabi branding. All right, speaking about branding, let's move on to the second component of this part of the video, which is branding. So clicking on branding here, we have a couple components that you want to gather and put into Kajabi so that you have cohesive branding across your site. First is the favicon, the little icon in the top of the browser. You can go ahead and create this. Now, I will say that usually we just create graphics in Canva. And so Canva, the smallest dimension that you can actually create is a 40 by 40 instead of the 32 by 32. That's okay. The 40 by 40 works just fine. So go ahead and create that and then upload it here with a transparent background if you'd like. Next is going to be your logo. A 300 by 400 is recommended. So just slightly, not quite square, right? Slightly rectangular. So you can go ahead and create that. If you're not familiar with how to create these dimensions in Canva, know that in my free course to you, which is Confident with Kajabi, there is a whole lesson in there called Confident with Canva. And I walk you through how to create these branding assets and then how to get them into Kajabi. So that is in that course for you as well. I left no stone unturned in that course. Scrolling down here, we have your font or typography. So you can go ahead and list your headings and your paragraphs. There's only 2 font types that you need in Kajabi. So you can put those there. And then you're going to put in your brand colors. Okay, so we have an overall brand color, an accent color, and then the overall palette. So anytime you pull up your colors in Kajabi, whatever colors you have in your palette are going to be right there for you to make sure everything stays on brand. The last part of this section is going to be your social links. So of course, across your site, there's great places where you can add social links. And so that you don't have to put in the link URL every time, you actually put them all here and then Kajabi will pull them out as needed or necessary. Okay, so that is branding. Let's move on. We have a couple more things to do in site settings. So we already talked about domain. So just a reminder, you can use Kajabi subdomain free. You can create your own subdomain if you already have a domain purchase and you don't want to move your entire website to Kajabi just yet. Or you can purchase a separate subdomain or a separate domain name and actually move it over. So that's where you do that in domain. Okay, let's look at marketing settings. Marketing settings are all about how can you send out your marketing emails. So moving up to the top here, you have to put in your business address because your address has to be on every single marketing email per marketing laws, okay, or email laws. So scrolling down here after you put in that email, the next opportunity is, or option here is a company logo. Here's the thing. This is what the image they want to pull onto your email automatically, your marketing emails automatically. I don't recommend this. It always comes out blurry. I cannot figure out how to not have a blurry image. And instead, I would rather have an email banner at the top versus just a big square or rectangular picture. So I actually don't put anything in here. Okay, here is that email settings. So with Kajabi, you can actually use Kajabi's email domain reputation, or I guess I would call it Kajabi's email delivery system, and use that delivery system's reputation to send your emails. And when I say reputation, email domains have a reputation, and that dictates deliverability and actually getting an email into an email inbox. And so you can actually put in your email domain, but then it is sent through Kajabi Mail. And so you're going to be able to see, or they can actually see it's going through Kajabi Mail, but they still see who it's from in your main email address right here. Okay. And when they hit reply, it's going to your email address and it says what it's mailed, who it's mailed by. The reason why I recommend this is because if you have a newer email domain, which means it has a low reputation of deliverability, it's not going to be likely that your emails are going to hit people's inboxes. Okay. So I would say use Kajabi's reputation or deliverability reputation to your advantage. So you have a higher likelihood of getting people or getting into people's inboxes so they can see you and you can say hi. All right, so that's what I recommend for the email. If you do want to have a completely custom email domain and don't want anything with Kajabi on it, this is where you set that up. All right, so moving on from there, we are moving through these site settings like water. So site details, branding, domain, marketing settings. The next thing I want to point you to, we're not going to go over all these. We're just going to have a couple more to do. Email templates. I want to point this out because so many of my clients get confused when they say, well, these are my email templates. Not really. These email templates that live in your settings are actually your transaction email templates, meaning these are the emails that are automatically sent based on an action that happens in your platform. So for example, if there is an announcement that goes out from your membership, this is a notification, an email template. A cart abandonment. So if you toggle on cart abandonment in your offers and you want someone to get an email an hour or 2 hours or 6 hours later, then it's going to send this template. And just know in these templates, there are liquid fields, which means it's going to pull in the right name. It's going to pull in the right product name or the right date or something. It's going to pull in that data from your system. So what I want to show you is that you can actually customize these just a little bit. So you can click on edit for any of these, and you're going to see they are in kind of plain text here. But what I want to show you is you can update the text so it really sounds more like you. And then your branding will be pulled into this. Okay. It's not going to be as branded as your marketing emails, but it will have like your main branding colors. Okay. So you can change any of these, but this is what I want to show you. When you see the double bracket, that is a liquid field and it's going to pull in data. You do not want to touch any of the coding there. Okay. So if you feel comfortable changing some of the words here, then feel free to do so on any of the email templates. Remember, these are transactional system emails that are being sent. Okay. So I'm glad I clarified that. Let's go back to settings here and let's move on to the next thing I want to show you, which are form fields or form settings. So in email marketing, you are going to have a lot of forms, okay? Anytime someone wants to opt in for a lead magnet, that's a form. Anytime someone wants to buy something from you, you can take them to a checkout and have an automation to connect them to a form. Anytime someone signs up for a free event, that's going to be a form, okay? So the form settings is where you can set up what custom fields you want someone to fill out. And the fields are just going to give you more information. So let me give you an example here. The main form fields are going to be name and email. Almost every time, that's all you need. But if there's something specific that you need to know, for example, what workshop time are they setting up, or sorry, are they selecting, then you want to be able to put in the workshop options or the event times as a custom field so that when they select that, then you can set an automation that says register them for this specific event. Okay. So that's an example. Another example I have is resources. So I've been really playing with the idea of having a resource vault for my K Effect community, which is people on my email, to put all of my resources into one place. So if they come to me for one checklist or guide or template that they really want, they actually have instant access to a lot of other resources that will support them along the journey. And so what I want to be able to do though, is I want to know what resources are they coming for first, right? So if they found me, what really piqued their interest? So for example, my 17-minute sales page template, create your community checklist, your dream website checklist. So I can start to actually put in the choices here. So when they put in their name and email, they can actually select one of these choices to let me know, hey, my dream website checklist is really taking off. That's just going to help me create content around what people really want. All right, so those are the form settings. Let's move on from there. We're going to go back to settings here, and we're almost done with site settings. Okay, so we have those done. We have form fields done. The last thing I want to point out here is your mobile app settings. Okay, so with Kajabi, if you probably have not heard, or maybe you have, Kajabi allows you to have your own branded app. That's kind of a separate thing from Kajabi. It is included in some of their plans or separately purchased in other plans. But it also allows you to use the Kajabi app. So anytime that someone purchases something from Kajabi, they can download the Kajabi app and they can go to that business. So let's say the Systemize CEO, and they can find whatever they purchase from me. They can also open the app and go to another creator and find whatever they purchase from them. That's this mobile app. So everyone will have access to your content with the free app. So I do highly recommend setting up a couple things because a lot of people forget about this and they don't realize how much their clients or customers are using the app. So you can upload an icon here. You can see it's a square icon right here using these dimensions and set that up or create that in Canva and then upload that here. You can have a mobile app login. So at any time, if you're creating any kind of freebie or something and you want someone to be able to download the app to access it, you can actually paste this. They're going to, download the Kajabi mobile app and be able to log in to access that content. Then you want to select the color palette that most aligns with your branding. You cannot put in absolute custom colors here. Again, this is not a custom branded app. This is Kajabi's app that they're allowing for creators to be able to put their content on so their customers have a way to access their content, right? So just choose the color palette that most aligns with your branding and then that's it. All right. So also, if you ever want to tell your clients like, hey, I have a mobile app, or Kajabi has a mobile app, and all of your content can be found right on there, then it actually gives you a way to send out an email broadcast, and it gives you a swipe copy. So you can copy this and put it into a marketing email and send it to everyone that's appropriate to send to. Okay. All right. And the last thing is you want to make sure that your push notifications are turned on for people to have notifications on their phone if they want notifications there. Okay. All right, so let's click back to settings. I hope you're already feeling confident about, or more confident about, what to set up in Kajabi first. Account settings is the foundation. So we want to just double check. We've done all of these payment settings. We've done site settings, most of them that are really important for you starting off. And just want to point out one thing. If you have a team member and you want them to be able to join Kajabi, firstly, you need to make sure that you have a pricing plan that allows for one admin user in addition to the owner. And if you have that, then you can go ahead and click manage users and just add them in right there. Okay, so they have their own email and login to access your account. All right, so the last piece of this puzzle to make sure that you have everything set up at the beginning is I want to make sure that you are confident with the navigation. I want to make sure that you feel really good about what actually to click and use in Kajabi, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at the Kajabi navigation here. First, we have that dashboard. Dashboard is just recent activity in your account. Next are products. Products are the things that people can buy. This is going to be your courses, your community, any coaching programs, any downloads, your newsletter, a private podcast. Those are things that people can buy, right? Or experiences they can buy into. And next, we have sales. This is how much people need to pay in order to access one product or a bundle of products. It also has stipulations around paid in full price and payment plan prices, or when they have access to the product. So they get access instantly, or they get access in 7 days. Do they have access forever or just for 3 months? So that's all found in offers. So essentially how you're packaging up the experience with the products and access, bundling it up into an offer. Okay. You also in the sales section have payouts. So you can see when money is coming into your account, a cart. So if you've ever seen something like Sam's Cart or Thrive Cart, Kajabi has its own cart as well. So people can select multiple things they want to purchase from you. Has invoices. So you can directly invoice people from Kajabi, coupons, and affiliates. Now, something else it has that I absolutely love is it has your entire website in this platform. No need to go get a WordPress website or Wix or use something else to cobble these together. Your website lives inside of your business hub. So your website here is going to start with a design. There are several templates that are totally for free in Kajabi that you can start with a design there. And then that's going to give you website pages, which are some main pages that you have that have Kajabi components in it, such as a blog. And then there are also landing pages, unlimited landing pages. A landing page is a blank canvas that you can actually create anything that you want, anything that you need on, and send people to that link. So there's your landing pages. Next, you have navigation. So how to set up your header and your footer navigation. That's done here. And then your blog. So your blog is a component inside of your website. And so as you're writing blog posts with your overall website branding. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite things about using Kajabi, which is the marketing tools. I cannot tell you how many clients have come to me and said, I want to build this business and I have my courses over here, but I have this over here for funnels and I use this other tool for email marketing. And it is like a spaghetti mess. And so they are using webhooks like Zapier or Make to try to cobble this together. Instead of doing all of that, you really can use Kajabi as your business hub because it not only has your courses and products and payments, it also has your marketing tools. So for example, it has a universal inbox, which means all of your DMs from your social media platforms, as well as your emails coming in, can live in one inbox. So you never miss a conversation. It also has your email campaigns. Email campaigns mean one broadcast, meaning you can send out an email to your list at any time or schedule it out. But you can also create automated automatic email sequences that when something happens, like they purchase something, they register for an event, or they have just opted in for a free resource, you can send them a curated email sequence that they can get over a specific amount of time. So they immediately feel like you see them and that you're right there with them in their inbox as they move through the next step and maybe wanting to work with you more. Funnels. So let's click on funnels just for a moment, just so I can show you. Kajabi makes it really easy to create funnels because they have this new funnel button here, which means they have pre-created funnels for you. All you get to do, or all you need to do, is update those landing pages with your branding and pictures, and it's going to pull in your fonts that you already have set up, and also your colors are going to be available there, and you're going to be able to create a funnel. A funnel is just a curated journey from a kind of a stranger to a customer or a client. So just a way essentially for them to come into your business, come into your ecosystem, so you can nurture them and serve them in what way serves them best, whatever fits what they need. All right, so those are funnels. Automations, of course, we now have really complicated branching, which I love, but also really simple. Like when they register for an event, send them this email. So it can be really simple or really complex. And then it has live events also in it. So you don't have to do a separate event tool, right? So you can set an event and then all the emails you want to come before the event, all the emails you want to come after the event, any of the automations you want to happen, all can live within that date or from that date of the event. And then, of course, forms, like we talked about, creating ways for people to give a little bit of information so you can best help them. All right, and the last piece I'm going to point out here are your contacts. These are your people. These are your email list people. These are your customers. And so in all contacts, you're going to be able to see people's names, right? But you're also going to be able to use filters, and based on what products they have, what offers they have, what they don't have, what freebies they've opted in for, you're going to be able to create segments, which are just kind of folders of specific people because they made a similar behavior inside of your business. So that's a great way to help them and speak directly to them. You also can manage any of your tags. So I like to use tags so that it's really easy to create segments with behaviors, right? So when they do something, you can tag them. All right, my friend. So that is the overall navigation of Kajabi. In this video, we went ahead and walked through all of the essential settings for you to set up so you have a strong foundation in your Kajabi account. We talked about your payment settings, we talked about those main site settings, and we went through the navigation of Kajabi so it doesn't feel like this giant, scary platform. Instead, you know that it has the tools there to support you. And just as a reminder, if you want to build this along with me, this is becoming a series called How to Kajabi. And so we can build this thing together. Go ahead and grab my 30-day free link down in the description. And again, it comes with my Confident with Kajabi course, your 30-day launch sprint plan to go from empty account to live offer in under 30 days. All right, friend, I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you in the next one.